Innovation, Development, and Engagement for the U.S. Department of Justice.
Good afternoon. Hi, good afternoon. Amazing conference. I'm so thrilled to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time. They wanted me to speak about funding opportunities, which I know is very exciting. I walk around with a big dollar sign on my forehead, and it makes me a lot of friends I've discovered over the past couple of years. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about my background and what brings me here today, which is not part of my prepared remarks, but I really wanted to share it with you. So, as stated, I work for the Department of Justice, the Bureau of Justice Assistance specifically, which is the money arm of the Department of Justice. And this is a presidential appointment that I got a couple of years ago, which is really an honor for me to be working for the Biden administration. And prior to that, I was actually a judge in Baltimore for over 20 years. DMV, yes. And, I really got to see the need for re-entry and, more importantly, reintegration in a very real, practical way. Because there were individuals who came in front of me every single day, and I would look at their records, and sometimes it went back to the 80s. And I understood that there was a serious failing in their ability to truly reintegrate into the community when they did come back from incarceration. And it became something that I really was just very passionate about, and started doing a lot of the work in my own courtroom, bringing in community resources like the ones that you all represent, actually bringing them into the courtroom and have them sitting with me. They would sit in the jury box. So when people would come in front of me and I would have conversations with them and really try to understand who the individual was that was standing in front of me, I would be able to figure out what their needs were and match them with the needs, match them with community resources that would address those needs right then and there in the courtroom, create those relationships. Because as we know, the people in this situation, every hurdle makes things more difficult. And here's a number, call them in the morning. Most likely, that call is not going to be made. And if they do make the call and they're put on hold, they're not going to stay on hold. So every hurdle that I was able to eliminate, the more likely this person was going to have the success that they need. So when I came to the Department of Justice and I came to BJA, which really covers all parts of the criminal justice system, and as a presidential appointee, they're really nice to you. And they're like, well, you tell us, Karen, what do you want to do? And what areas are you interested in? Because they really cover everything from policing all the way through, right? And I said I really want to be in the re-entry space, because I really think that that is a place where we can really make a difference. We know where these individuals are. We know what communities they're going back to. We know when they're getting out. We know what they need to be successful and to truly reintegrate. So I really wanted to be a part of making that happen. So a lot of you already have seen me at other conferences. This is really a passion point for me. And I look forward to working with all of you in the future to really try to expand this space, to really try to see where the innovations are, and to help you learn from each other. Because as someone who's traveling the country, and we were just talking about it at my table, I did 125,000 miles in 2023 alone, working in this space. So I get to see a real national perspective, which is really I'm so fortunate. And what I would love to see is us really try to build communication and really learn from each other. We don't all have to reinvent the wheel. Everyone's trying to do good work. Let's learn from each other so we can really serve the people that need us. So let's move to Money. Okay, we love money. So, all right, so happy Second Chance Month. And for the past 15 years, federal, state, local, and tribal governments, as well as community-based organizations across the country, have focused on reducing recidivism like never before through the Second Chance Act. And I hope you're all familiar with that. The Second Chance Act was legislation that provides funding to reduce recidivism and improve outcomes for youth and adults leaving detention and incarceration. Funding has supported over $600 million in re-entry investments across the country. These investments, this money, is distributed through the component of Department of Justice that I work at, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, otherwise known as BJA. BJA's goal in the field is to provide leadership and services in grants administration and criminal justice policy development to support local, state, and tribal justice strategies to achieve safer communities. We execute that mission in a number of ways, including by providing funding for technical assistance to support our grantees and the re-entry field at large. Our grant funding serves several purposes. First, it's seed money to help you get a program or a project off the ground. Second, it can support an agency or organization to get proof of concept. Once that initiative is off the ground, you dig into whether and how it's working and share that with the field. Think of this purpose as a research and development lab for the field to help learn from each other and advance practice. A third common purpose is to expand or enhance something an agency or an organization has already started and believes can be improved or serve more people. All of our Second Chance Act grants also come with training and technical assistance to help grantees and support grantees to accomplish their goals and achieve objectives of their funding proposals. Now, in addition to our funding, we also have something, and I hope all of you will take a look at it. We have something called the National Reentry Resource Center, and that's nationalreentryresourcecenter.org, which serves as a reentry clearinghouse, and I would really encourage all of you to take a look at it. It has a lot of resources on it. We also operate 3 clearinghouses and 1 toolkit. We have the National Inventory on Collateral Consequences of Conviction, which is a repository of state-level legislative and regulatory collateral consequences, which I know is something that you all are very familiar with and deal with all the time. National Clean Slate Clearinghouse, which provides people with criminal records, legal service providers, and state policymakers with information on juvenile and adult criminal record clearance policies in all of the United States. We have the Public Safety Risk Assessment Clearinghouse, which deals with current state of risk models and best or promising practices. And then we have a toolkit called Building Second Chances, Tools for Local Reentry Coalitions. So I encourage you all to take a look at all of those. Now, the money. So we have several grants that have already been advertised. If you go onto our website, bja.gov, you can sign up for alerts. Every time we have a new grant that is released to the public, you will get an alert about it. Once it goes out to the public, generally there's 90 days to apply for the grant. So you want to get, it's funny, I was just in Chicago yesterday, and the Attorney General was there, and he actually announced a grant right then and there, and literally half the room stood up and walked out with their phones to be the first ones to get to see the grant. He's like, wait till after my speech to look at the grant. Half the place like cleared. There was like such hustle and bustle. It was very funny. All right, so I'm going to just go through a couple of them that I think that you all would be interested in. One for 24 is improving adult and youth crisis stabilization and community reentry. That is an $825,000 grant for 36 months. This program supports state, local, and tribal governments as well as community-based nonprofit organizations and eligible behavioral health providers to support cross-system coordination to provide comprehensive treatment, recovery, and other supportive reentry services to adults, youth, and young adults with mental health and/or substance use disorders who are currently involved in the criminal or juvenile justice systems or are transitioning from a prison, jail, or juvenile detention facility and are at greater risk of crisis when they re-enter the community. Second Chance Act community-based reentry. That's $750,000 for 36 months. This program supports community and faith-based organizations in developing and implementing comprehensive and collaborative programs that support people who are re-entering communities from incarceration who are at medium to high risk of reoffending to reduce recidivism and to improve public safety. Third, improving substance use disorder treatment and recovery outcomes for adults in re-entry. That is a $900,000 grant for 36 months. Its target is to improve the provision of drug treatment to offenders in prisons and jails, and reduce the use of alcohol and other drugs by long-term substance users during the period in which they are incarcerated and through the completion of parole or court supervision, to provide prison-based family treatment programs for incarcerated parents of minor children or pregnant women. I'm wrapping up, I think I'm going to have the cake here in a second. Includes people with substance use disorders as well as people with co-occurring substance use and mental health disorders. And the last one that I want to mention is one that has not been released yet, so the clock has not started running on this one. It is going to be released very soon, so please take a look at it, and it's a brand new one for us. And that is improving reentry, education, and employment outcomes. It's $900,000 over 36 months. This is to implement or expand educational, vocational programs, as well as job readiness assessments, individualized case plans, and employment-related services for incarcerated adults that result in improved educational outcomes as measured by literacy attainment, high school equivalency, high school and higher education diplomas, certifications, other credentials, improved job readiness, employment attainment, and retention. Thank God I was born in Brooklyn, otherwise I could not have spoken that. So, there we go. So, in the coming months, there are going to be a lot of opportunities for nonprofits, like many of you here, nonprofits, to apply for micro grants. Okay, that's something new for us. We now have micro grants that's going to be through BJA's Community Reentry Incubator Initiative. So please look at that, and that's going to really be focused on housing and transitional support, which, as we know, is a crisis point in every community. So please look out for that. You can check the National Reentry Resource Center about that. I want to thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry I went over time, because I know it's very important to everyone. Thank you for all that you do. You're incredible. You do so much for the community. Bless you, and enjoy the rest of your time.